Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Essay. My name is Sean, and today we're going to be looking at a new comic book, Sideways, that DC is releasing. Sideways issue number 1. Now, this is Sideways, along with Damage, along with a few other issues, are coming out actually as a result of Dark Knight's Metal, which is actually pretty interesting. So, I liked what Sideways. I liked his power. I liked how he looked. So I thought, like, you know what? Let me just try to get ingrained into Sideways. So anyone else, if you feel if you want to try out these comics, please go ahead. Go to your local comic book store. Go buy them. Go online and get them. Read them. Yeah, they're pretty dope. So let's jump into it. We're introduced to Derek. Basically, he's the Sideways character. He's the guy with powers. So we're introduced to him and his friend Ernie. Now we understand from the conversation that they are having that they're friends, and that Ernie is the one who made Derek's costume actually. And like most new issues, we are getting little breadcrumbs of his origin and his powers. So where Ernie argues with Derek for just rifting into her bathroom, we discover that Derek is actually pretty strong, as what happened to him as what happened to him, as well as it was a result of his powers that he got strength and a bit of durability and so on. So later on, we see Derek go home. So we're also getting little tidbits there that we're understanding his home life, that he's an adopted child, and that his mother loves him like a lot, which most mothers love their sons. Speaking from experience. Now we understand that both of them took a trip to Gotham. Now during this trip, Dark Knight's Metal was happening. So this story is happening post Dark Knight's Metal. Right now, during the Dark Knight's Metal storyline, there was this huge mountain basically that was erected in the middle of Gotham, and Derek and his mother were there at the time, obviously. So Derek fell through a rift traveling through the mountain, and after landing on the other side of town, he basically just passed out. And afterwards, we don't have anything more than that, except that now he has superpowers. Coming back to the current day, there is something interesting here. Ernie advises Derek to listen to his physics lecture, basically, that's happening, as he currently has a power that can alter time and space. Which I just want to ramble on a bit here about this, is because if I got superpowers, that's definitely something I'll do. That's definitely something, like, that's what I loved so much, actually. And I'm picking Spider-Man here because I think the two characters are supposed to remind us of each other. The way they look, even the time and space in which we see the heroes getting their superpowers. And I see the same thing in Miles Morales from the Marvel universe. But the only reason I'll compare them is because, like, I see them as they get their powers, they decide, like, yeah, okay, I need to start learning more about my powers. You know, Peter Parker was already he was already a bright young student. You know, Miles Morales has to study a lot more, but yes, they do end up creating different formulas for web fluid, which is quite amazing. So yes, I like this advice that his friend gives him. Is like, listen, go to your physics class, learn about physics, learn about time and space, because this is something that may help you to understand how your powers work and even to advance them to some degree. So now after school, anyway, Derek decides to take his new costume out for a spin. He gets on social media and starts explaining his powers on social media, that he can create rifts, he can look through them, he can step through them, he basically can travel to different places. And now, as he's displaying his power, he's met by a voice that keeps following him and telling him to stop what he's doing, stop moving. If Sideways, but because this is Sideways, in his ignorance, he tries to travel to different locations to escape the voice, but he never does. Frankly, the voice ends up catching up to him, and he's met by a being who tells Sideways that he's being irresponsible with his space and time powers, and the punishment for that it's basically he's been judged, and the punishment for that is death. And that's basically the end of the story, guys. So I'm going to be covering the few other issues that are coming out with Sideways. I think it's pretty interesting. I like the artwork. The artwork is very, like, it's very cool. And yeah, if you like the channel, Please subscribe, please like the video, please also comment if you want to. I'm always ready for comments and conversations. And yeah, follow us on Twitter and subscribe to Patreon, and I'll catch y'all later. Cheers.